I've allowed you to do so.
Host allows you to record. Sawa, it's recording. Okay, yeah. So we were asking, is it wrong to date when in high school? After all, other Christians are doing it. And my perspective was, the person who is asking the question, it's a good question. We all ask about it because at that particular time we're also growing, but it shows me something, that this person, number one, needs to come up with their identity. There seems to be a problem here with an identity. When we start saying, let me do something because others are doing it, we need to look back and think, where is our identity? Where do I base my identity? Will I break into a chips shop because everybody else is breaking? It is that thing that defines you inside, which I would call values, that will determine how you move on when other people are doing something, especially something where your mind is questioning, where your conscience is questioning. So after you define then what again you mean by dating, most often I find this question being asked by, in other words, can I have a friend of the opposite sex? That is what I understand by the normal meaning of dating. But also dating has the idea of going out to eat with somebody. And so here is my take. Again, all of you have a chance to contribute, especially those who are in high school, and even those who are not in high school. Kina Joyce can also share their experiences. One, I find that if you are going out in terms of kwa date, yani kukula football match, and you go out in a group of many of you, then surely if you call, we are going on a date, something like that, I don't think anybody can fault you. But if you're talking about a relationship at that age, I want you to ask yourself these questions. And this is now from my perspective, from the upper side. One, are you ready to get married? Because more often than not, when people start dating, chances are they will engage their emotions. And these emotions, after a while, they start leading to, we need to spend time with each other more. And this is part of the reason why people get married. Part of the reason people get married for very many reasons. But part of it is, how can we get now time to spend time together more as we make one destiny? So that is my first question. Are you ready to get married? Number two, are you willing to invest all your emotions into this relationship, especially as a girl? Over time, I have found that, and even when you watch these soaps that are coming on TV, they're bringing it even out more. The girl gives almost her all, because as women, we nurture, we love, we want to bring out, we want to kukuza your relationship. But for the other partner, more often than not, if we do what we call dating and then we go to bed with this person, most of the time inaishianga tu hapo. Ameshapata kila alikuwa nataka, imeishia hapo. So anyway, back to what I'm saying. Are you ready to invest emotionally? When we were in school, it used to be times of letter writing. A girl would get letters. Somebody has written a letter, we met in another school, in another function. And of course, we'd be there very happy, celebrating. Getting the letter is not a big deal. But after the letter and the content of the letter is what would probably make the big deal. Because from there now you will hear stories like, oh, he loves me, he tells me he loves me, he'll be communicating with me. And then as a girl, you start feeling something beating. And you know, none of you, your faces on the screen. So I hope your faces are expressing what I'm expressing. Like your heart in a beat, you know, because of the person. And many of the ladies would hide that letter under their pillow. At night, what wakisha lala, masa hizo stima, before lights off, they read it. But the boys would tell us on the other end, when they talked, walisema, that girl, let me see how far we can go with her. And then they share with their friends. So on this side, the girl is private, but on the other side, the relationship is public. God forbid that they went and met and did what should not be done in that relationship. The girl is left there heartbroken. And one time I remember this happened, we were in class, I don't know what happened. This girl had put all her emotions, I think we're in Form 4, all her emotions in this relationship. And in our days, like I used to tell Kina Joyce, people used to leave each other with a flower. So if you got a yellow flower, you knew you have been what we call booted. I don't know, in your days, you call it ditched. For the whole class had to stop preps to console this girl that now she has been left. How sad the situation was. So the question is, are you willing to handle those emotions that go with dating in high school? Number three, will you, who is dating, be able to balance between going to class and achieving your goals and having this relationship with this person? Because for us now who are on this other side, I must make time for my family, Nisi and Fini, their father. I must make time to go to job. I must prepare. I must also talk to us now we are talking. Are you willing to balance all that? Because it's a lot of work. Otherwise, your life will suffer. And finally, number 4, we are told scientifically that we mature at 24. That is when the proper functioning part of the brain that makes full decisions is fully formed. That is scientific. At 24. Of course, a few people have gotten married earlier. Those are exceptions, but we are talking of generally. So when we start dating, because for me, what I've seen people call dating is investing emotions, and it's normally very heavy. And in the long run, either they crash, and hiyo ndio umesikia mtu amepewa heartbreak. If it was just a matter of a relationship, watu wanapendana, even here in this group tunapendana. Mbona hata if we don't talk to each other for a while, atusemi ati, Aki, my heart is broken, like Shama now telling me, Aki, mom, my heart is so broken, hujawahi ongea na mimi of late. Why? Because the emotions are different. So when you look at the types of love that are there, know that dating leads to romantic love. The romantic love needs a lot of investment. So those are the questions I will ask the person who wants to date at high school. And then as a Christian, what are your priorities? Is it keeping this man alongside? Because there'll come a time. There will definitely come a time when you tell everybody, now I want to start dating. I want to get married at some point. In fact, they'll be like, go in a hurry up. You're wasting time. So when everybody's telling you, please hold on until probably campus, umefika your age where you're able to handle. And for me, I always believe once in a while, try to picture how you live your life as a single person, also enjoying, but of course, praying that someday God will give you a partner. But this is what I'm saying. Then in case when you find a man or a boy that you feel your heart loves, I always call it crush. It's something that can happen without your control. You just find like, wow, that person looks so nice. And you share with somebody, and girls normally get excited. They do things like this. I always say, if you crash, don't crash land. There's no need of crash landing. Here's the simple thing. If you are very hungry and you're walking in town and you find that you feel chips or you see ice cream over those boards, do you crash that glass and wapa? No, you control your emotions. So should you feel that crash towards somebody, control those emotions. How? One, you can share with a friend and they'll tell you, why, what are you doing? The other thing, write it down. Sometimes when you write it down and then you read what you've written down, you even wonder, what was I thinking? Because once you really know the person, and that's what it takes to really form a stable relationship, then you'll discover, I think we are not compatible. Number, I'm not sure which number, then avoid going into places where you're just the two of you. Your body is very human. It will just act in the human way. So the moment you have those feelings towards somebody, be very, very keen. And this is what I will say. Even when you're an old woman, you still have to take care of your emotions. You can't just be very careless. At me, I just mix with these men. Who tells you? The flesh, this flesh, like I told all my students, I'm still to find where the flesh is saved. It is your spirit that you feed, that is born again, that keeps you going when things are tough. And then, what am I saying as I finish this, because it's long? Realize that you're normal when you start having those feelings. But please do not crash land. When they're so strong, share those feelings with another person. So what am I saying? Is it right or wrong to date? Give me feedback, a few of you, from what you have had. Joyce, I think you can coordinate that part. Have I answered the question? Have I said it's right or wrong? Now give me feedback. Thank you.
Hey, this is always a very, it's always a very, let me say, I don't know, it's not difficult, but it's, I know when you're in high school, it's just a phase that adolescence kicks in. Yeah? Your body is developing, you have all these emotions, there's hormonal imbalance, like you just, I don't know, that I look at myself right now and I remember those days. It was just a ball of emotions. No. Someone just tells you something like, I love you, and you feel like, wow, this is the end of the world. Like, I will never find someone else who loves me like this. You see, so I will not lie to you, by the way. I'll just be honest with you because I'm your big sister. I had a boyfriend when I was in high school, around Form 3. Yes, Form 3 to Form 4, Form 3 going to Form 4. But let me tell you, there's nothing that really happened that at the Sijui. You know, I was a Christian, I'm still a Christian, I was saved. So for me, I didn't go beyond, it didn't go beyond what I expected. I know other people with other girls will come with tell you stories. I did this with so and so. I did this with so and so. But for me, I think it was just equal to mchezo. Let me just call it mchezo. The ones that this boy would come to my place, then we will just sit, talk. Maybe if there's food, we would eat my mom's food. Then tutazindikishana tu. Akifika kwao anizindikishe, tukifika kwetu nimzindikishe, and just that back and forth. But there's nothing really that happened in that. So I don't even call it a relationship, because I just think he was a friend of mine that maybe I gave him most of my time more than I did to any other person. And that thing, imagine it ended, it's there's always a natural cause for these things. It just ended like that. We don't even talk right now. We don't talk. I don't know where he is. He does not know where I am. And these things, usijipatie pressure. Don't give yourself so much pressure. You are human. Allow yourself to face these things. Allow yourself to feel these things, but don't take it beyond that. I always tell people there are lines in this life that once you've crossed that line, there's never coming back. There's grace. As much as there's grace, God will give you the grace, but it becomes so difficult to come back to because you'll experience another part of life that you had not. Then you're like, oh, kumbe, this is what happens. And now that's where we start getting things like addictions. You start getting things like just so many things that people deal with out here, sexual sin and all that. So for me, there are lines that I don't cross. I have friends who are male. I have very many male friends in my life, but I have boundaries. I know it can only go this far. We can only meet maybe at these particular places. Right now, I live alone. I live in my own house. But for me, I have a rule. All my male friends, we don't meet in my house. It is just for me. I don't want to put myself in a situation that later on I'll start asking myself, but if I had not done this, I wouldn't be here. I don't allow them to come to my place. We can meet out for coffee, we can meet out for whatever, but my place, it's a no, because it is a closed environment, and I cannot even trust myself that much. As Mom has said, our bodies are not saved. The flesh is not saved. So for those who are asking if they can date in high school, I've not said my story should not let you do now that, because maybe you're not me, and I don't know how far or what kind of how informed you are to make such a decisions. So for me, I'll tell you that there are more important things right now that you should be dealing with. All these things, Kina Mom used to tell us that these things will come. You'll have all those things. You will have boyfriends, and we're like, Mom does not understand. No. But imagine it's true. That time will come. You will have all that. You will see these beautiful people. When you're in high school, you see that one boy and you're thinking, oh, this one is the most beautiful one. You go to campus, you find other people who are even more beautiful, handsome than him. You go to the job market, you just go to the world and find out that there's just an overflow of all this. There's an overflow of all these people. They're always there. They'll always be there. So give yourself time. Prioritize. What is the most important thing right now? When I'm in high school, I'm thinking I need to study. I have my goals set out. I have a big picture of my life, of what I want my life to be. So with that, this boy, is he going to add into my bigger picture? You see, I know there are people who dated since high school and they even got married. Those are exceptions. But for you, just look at what do you want? What does God want for me? When you have that picture in your mind, it will always be a leading, leading roadmap to what you want to achieve, and you'll stay focused on your goals. You'll stay focused on your dreams. And as Mom has said, I know we in high school, many people are doing this thing, but for us, I can't remember the scripture, but it says, be set apart. Set yourself apart. You don't have to do everything that everyone else is doing. It doesn't have to be like that. And don't feel like I'm being left out. Don't feel like, oh, maybe I'm not beautiful, or boys are not even hitting on me. Don't feel like that. Even those things, imagine in like 5 years' time, they will not matter. They will not matter. Yes, that is what I'll say.
Before somebody else says something, I wanted to also say, we are not saying that when you're a girl, you cannot have a friend who is a boy. This is what I mean. There are boys who you live in the same estate. There are boys who you will go for an outing in a different school and you meet and you become friends. If you establish that this is a person who is of good character, it's even possible for you to tell your parents, so-and-so is coming. Even in our days, it was like that. So-and-so who is like this, and your parents will get to understand is coming. And your parents may be like, okay, nataka kuona huyo mtu. Na mtakuja mkae, you discuss, the things you discuss will be more of development. But here we are talking of dating as the world takes it. So we are not saying, sasa ukwetu peke yako uongee na wavulana. That is abnormal. You need to talk to them. You need to find out what their ambitions are, so that even you put yourself at an edge where you can compete in this world with everybody. When you're meant to be a leader, you need to meet other boys who are leaders and ask them, what is your style? How do you achieve? So you must have a healthy relationship with boys, so that ukiona boys hushtuki. But what we are saying, and Joyce has put it very clearly, avoid being in lonely places with people because you're only human. And the other thing I keep telling young girls, you are normal. Chances are you will find somebody who your heart feels and beats for. I call it crashing. But all I'm saying is, do not crash land. You don't have to be in a mutual relationship. For me, I would be like, make friends with many people as much as you can, gauge your emotions. And then one day when you are, it will be another time, another talk, what we normally call when you are ready, then you can talk. And let me tell you, relationships, there's no place where you reach in a relationship where you don't need help. Even at my age, I still consult other older women, and I ask them, what do I do here and there? So even at this age, keep talking. Find a mentor, a bigger and older woman you can trust. Kina Joyce are here for us. The bigger sisters are here in the Pillar Daughters. Get to know them outside the Pillar Daughter WhatsApp chat. Call Joy. We have worked with Joy. I know Joy. She has gone through so many trials and temptations, and she has withstood. How about tapping into that grace that she has? And even some of us are still open. I'll never judge you, even if you told me this and this happened. But I would rather you didn't fall into sexual sin because you are not guided. And that is what we are saying Pillar Daughters are for. Joy, do you still have much more time? I finished the one on exams. We can maybe do another one later. But I needed some people to speak on this, at least a few voices. At least to skie nani hapa? Hannah. Hannah liongea. Who didn't talk last time? At least one voice of a young person. What do they think? Nisi, sema kitu.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think that everything we've said is okay. And I also think that dating in high school is not really a good thing, because instead of studying, you'll be focusing on whether this person is there, or he even likes you, or maybe he's cheating on you with other people. So it's better during high school life until some parts in campus, we should just focus on our studies, but not forget to make friends with both genders.
Okay.
Yes, that's all.
Thank you. Yeah, Joy?
Also, I've remembered just something right now. You need this, as Mom has said, you need these older people, older women that have gone before you. They know these things. So like for me, Mom knows, I think I once took my boyfriend to see Mom. And let me tell you, by the way, it worked because, for Mom, she has experience, and maybe even from her career, and just from just her wholesome being, she can really make good judgment of someone. So if you have, if you have a boyfriend, let me just now we are being honest and real.
Joy,
yes,
tell them
yes.
that was it after campus or somewhere in campus?
I was in campus, almost finishing campus.
Ndio sasa mtu asilete kesho.
Usipeleke mom kesho, but yes, uko campus. I was in third year, I think, third year going to fourth year. So, and I took him to see mom, and they talked with mom. But let me tell you, after that, it's even a week didn't end. I called mom crying because I had been left. And I think it is the meeting that we had with mom that really brought out now who this person is, because there are questions that mom asked him that maybe I wouldn't even be able to ask him, but I wouldn't even know of asking those particular questions. And I think it just gives perspective. And even for the boys, they even get scared. For the men, at least they know you have people in your life that are looking out for you. Do you get me? There are people in your life who are looking out for you, people who are concerned about you, people who care for you. But now, if we are just the two of us, two of you, always just two of you in closed areas, you're just spending time together and you don't even have someone who is older to guide, it becomes difficult for you because you're clouded, your judgment is clouded by that love thing. Your emotions cloud your judgment. You cannot judge correctly who this person is. But an elder person, your mom, your aunt, or just whoever you think you're close to, they will be able to make good judgment of who this person is. Yes.
Great, great. So what I suggest we can do so that we will wrap up all. The next question is not a very long one, so we can wrap up and everybody will give a finishing point. I can see Beatrice is also in. The next one which we'll do is, I'm so afraid the exam results are about to come out. What do I do? So I'll just speak briefly about that one. And then, like I suggest, all of us can now speak about all the questions, give one or two things. And then there was the one on dreams, but we believe God is not the last meeting. So for those who are waiting for results, believe you me, it doesn't matter whether it's an interview. It doesn't matter whether, whatever you're going to do that you've never done before, there's always this butterfly in your stomach that makes you feel like, oh my God, what am I expecting? And again, I'll go back to the Bible. All the men and women of God, you can be sure they had these words, fear not. Fear not. No matter how powerful they looked. But of course, when we look at them now from this side, we're always like, wow, so and so. But at one point, even David, who killed Goliath, when you read the book of Psalms, you see the man used to cry. I think he used to cry more than all of us combined, the Psalms. So what are we saying? That kind of feeling that you have is normal. So don't kill yourself and say you don't have faith. But what I'm saying is this, and this morning I had, I think somebody else was saying, he was saying, what you feed grows. If you will start focusing on your fear, it will grow. But when the thought comes and you dismiss it, then it will not grow. And believe you me, you are now engaged with something else. I'm sure even those who did exams on the platform right now, your mind is now it's not so much in terms of what is happening and what else and what will happen tomorrow because you are here on this forum. So just keep yourself busy. But apart from that, know that God has your future. Let me share with you briefly. When I finished Form 6, I had hoped to go to Kenyatta University. Actually, I was going to be a teacher. And the year before, they were taking very high grades. So those days, they used to grade up to 12. So I prayed and I knew I was going to get 10 so that I can go and do my course. When the results came, I had 9. I am locked out of campus. I don't know what to do. But I remember my mother came and they didn't quarrel. My mother just came and said, my daughter, I know God will make a way for you. And hearing those words from my mother comforted my heart. And I knew we don't know where we are starting. And believe you me, our neighbor, we had a neighbor whose daughters we were in the same school. They were laughing at me. They were laughing at us. Like, so what have you got? What? You know, so many things like that. Thanks, Joyce, for adding more time. Believe you me, at that particular time, for me, I was just busy. I used to have my times of prayer alone. I think if you ever knew me, it's always just about God intertwined in everything I do. So let that not worry you. The Lord knows how to work with these people. Long story short, after that, my father was now like, so what's my daughter going to do? He looked for a diploma college. I went, I started learning. I bonded with those people. I met 2 friends. Up to now, we are still friends, especially with one of them. And there, I also discovered my gift of singing. We used to sing. Break time, watu wakiwa outside, tunaimba. Mpaka break time ya college, yani like when you have your breaks in school, we would sing. So now they knew us the trio. Long story short, after that, my mother said, I promised myself I'll step in campus. And if I'm not going to step in campus myself, my daughter will step in campus. And my daughter went, got me an admission. Believe you me, when I heard of that campus, I never wanted to go. I was afraid. I prayed. I fasted. Lord, asipate hiyo barua, because I was afraid that my faith will be affected. Mungu ni nani? God opened the way. I went to that campus. And from that campus, I learned about that faith. It's just a Christian faith, just a little bit, things were different then. And believe you me, long story short, when I was getting married, the home I got married into, Kinanisi's home, it is that faith that was there. There's nothing wrong with the faith, but then they used to challenge our salvation. God gave me now all the knowledge by the time I got there. And then now I knew how to handle the people. Number 2, God knew I would be a chaplain in State House Girls, and I would handle the faith in this school. So it became so much easier. So God has a plan. Some of you, and I believe all of us here, we have trusted God. You will go straight to where he wanted you to be. So what I'm saying, whether God takes you straight to campus, to that course, whether you miss the course you wanted by a mark, fear not. There is a God who has you in the palm of his hand, and he will hold you and you will do well. So one other thing I want you to do as you're waiting for your results, wage war. What do I mean? The war in your mind. 1 Corinthians 3 says, for the weapons of our warfare are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations. Those imaginations, I know some of us did very well, and we're wondering, will I make it to that school I want? When those thoughts start disturbing you, I have found that verse works for me. I remember telling my students once upon a time, in campus now, Joy is somewhere here. In campus, there is this boy, I think I told Kinanisi, I just used to see him and I used to feel like, wow, this guy is good. And then when he talked to me, I'd be like, what, Jehovah? One day he told me, Situkutane, we were just to meet and talk. And we were going for a prayer meeting. I just kept thinking, wow, we are supposed to meet with so-and-so. It was almost interfering. And there's nothing between us. Like Joe said, it was just, to meet and talk. Believe you me, when I invoked this scripture, and I just repeated the scripture and I said, Lord, I believe it, that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Every tongue that rises, I bring down. And every thought that exalts itself above the knowledge of Christ, I bring into subjection of Christ. Believe you me, the thoughts went, I prayed, the meeting never happened. I thank God it never happened anyway. Not that I knew anything that could have happened. What am I saying? Take charge of your thoughts as you're waiting. Otherwise, fear is a spirit. Fear is real. You give it opportunity, it will visit you with its relatives. Anxiety, worry, then sicknesses will start coming with it into the body. No wonder Jesus says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, make your request known to God. And the peace of God that passes human understanding will fill your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. Realize God has a plan. And finally, I think on dreams, we can leave it for next time. But if you're dreaming, keep dreaming. If they're dreams from the enemy, pray about them. But there's something beautiful about dreams. I will stop there. I can see more people have joined. Hallelujah. Is Joy still there? Ama she was thrown out? Oh, she's in.
I'm here, Mom. My electricity went off, so my machine went off. But I'm here on phone.
The challenges today, but I know we had prayed for this meeting, and children of God, anytime we call a meeting, pray. Don't take the airwaves for granted. Pray. Pray. Right. You can guide us in the meeting. Beatrice is there. Take over. Look at me. Wow.
Yes, I can say almost most people are in, so I don't know. I think what we do is we can get like a take home, what you've learned, what you think you can add on what you've said about I think we've handled 3 questions or 4 questions. 4 questions. You can just tell us what you've learned, what is your take home, or even suggest other areas that you'd want us to delve in, maybe in our next meeting. So I will just like for Beatrice, I've not heard you speak to. Yes, ma'am.
Let me interrupt you 1 minute.
Yes.
I can see those who have just come in. Nyokabi and Beatrice. Let me just summarize in brief what was in the other video, but they'll watch it because we recorded. One, we have said that when we are suffering, there are many reasons we can suffer. But let me summarize by saying this. If you are suffering because it's under God, remember the teacher is always silent when the test is on, but the teacher is there. We talked about suffering. And then we talked about pornography. And that one, unless they go to the other video, we said many, many things about how to take care of our own selves who are helping the person who could be addicted, and the various reasons why people get into pornography. I think they came in when we were doing dating. So I think we brought them up to speed up to there. So you can go ahead and do the last part.
So I'll start, I think, with the people who have been here with us from the word go. So there's Finny and Nisi. Finny.
Yes.
Yes, I want you to tell us what you've learned.
Okay, from the first time I learned about let me start from where I had. So how when you have a friend, or not only a friend, like someone who are watching pornography, you should help them, like you should help them talk more to you. Now you can help them, either you or someone else, to help you. And about dating, you should not date till you are ready. God will just give you the man you're supposed to date. Usijichagulie mtu wa kudate before your time comes. And it's not proper to date at a young age, because you will not concentrate in whatever you're supposed to do. Because example, meaning, if I start dating when I'm this young, it won't help me. Like I can't study. I won't study because I'll be thinking about what Nishi just said. If this person is cheating on you, this person actually loves you, all those stuff. So God will give you the person at the right time. And I've learned that, Pia, that we are all asking questions. That's what I've learned.
Okay, thank you, Finny. Nisi, I know you're just next to Finny.
Yes. Me, I've learned that everything has their own timing, and so we should not try to hurry up things, because God knows our future and He knows when we should do things at the right time. And also, we should also help people, but we should be careful how we help people, because we might be helping people come out of their trap, while on the other case, we will fall into the trap that they once were in. And we should also be kind. We should learn by starting to love and show compassion to the people that are supposed to help. That's what I've learned.
Great, great. I believe we have Annette. Hi, Annette.
Hi.
Yes, talk to us.
What I can take home is that, okay, for me, I was also undergoing the question on waiting for results and all, and I've taken home that I should let everything to God, and I know that I'm going to make it, and yes, just making a request known to God and praying, and whatever you say and whatever you prophesy upon your life, and it is positive, it is going to happen, and you possess what you say. That's what I can take home.
Great, that's beautiful. We have Hannah Dorcas.
Yes, thank you, Joyce. So I've learned that you should sacrifice the flesh, because it's our enemy among also the world and Satan. And we should also reach out to people dealing with addictions with love and work with them. And through that, we should also take care of ourselves, and we should also trust God's timing. Yes, thank you.
Welcome. We have Shama. Shama, hi.
Hi. What I've learned is that in everything we do, you should always have a mentor to work with you, because they are more experienced and they can guide you on the right way. And also, fear is a spirit, and therefore we have power as children of God, whether to allow it to take control or not. So we should not allow fear to take control of us. Then, concerning the dating, God's timing is the best. And to add on something, it's that when you allow to enter into a relationship, it's like you're committing your heart to someone. So always when you're committing your heart to someone, this person can either build up your heart or break it. Because I believe that when God normally brings people into your life, they either come in to help you grow, or some come in to break you. So yeah, it's you to need to know the type of people around you. So entering into a relationship, it's like you're committing your heart to someone, and it will be so wrong and so discouraging if you commit your heart to a person who's not yet mature enough, meaning your heart will be easily broken. And I believe that the heart is a really, really, really deep, I don't know how to say it, but it's deep. Everything starts from the heart, even worship. It starts from the heart. So if you commit your heart to someone who is not yet mature, it's like you're giving them room to play with it, and it will affect most of your life. Yeah, so you have to be careful on the people you commit your heart to. Yes.
Wow, wow. I say we were concentrating today. We have Elsie. Hi, Elsie.
Hi. So
Yeah,
today,
talk to us.
hi. Today,
Hi.
starting from the Saturday, I've learned a lot because before this session, I asked myself why when the coronavirus healing, why it's suffering, and now I've come to learn that God allows suffering so as to prepare us for the future, and that suffering is also brought about by the different choices in life that we make. Yeah, and
Elsie,
yes.
we can't hear you clearly. Can you just be audible enough?
I was saying,
Yeah.
starting from the topic about suffering, um, I used to like ask myself, why do people suffer? The coronavirus, people are dying, people are financially low, and I was like, what? But then after this session, I've learned that this suffering is actually brought about by God to harden us and to prepare us for the future. And about the pornography, I've learned about like when you watching pornography, you're actually idle. So looking for other activities to do will actually draw your mind away from doing such things because I don't mind the devil's workshop. And when it comes to dating, I've actually learned that you should not things come at their own pace, and it is God's planning, and you should not rush things in life because at the end you are going to you're going to cry and regret the decision that you just made back then. That's what I've learned.
Okay. I didn't get the last part clearly, but I think I got what you said on the first topics, and that's great. Is there anyone else I've left behind? Oh, we have Nyokabi.
She has sent something on the chat.
Yes, yes, she has sent something. I've just seen it. She says, I have nothing much to position. I have nothing much position given. I joined the meeting late, but generally my takeaway is we are in this together with God. It's a combined effort. Beatrice says she's at work, so I don't do. Beatrice, can you just say something? It's one thing, if you can hear us. Beatrice. Oh, she left the meeting. I hadn't realized that she left the meeting, but anyway, for me, I believe that every day is a learning day, and there's no point in our lives that you will say that I have learned everything that I need to learn in this life. So even on these topics that we've had, I know we've not exhausted like everything on them. So let us keep learning. Keep looking for material to learn about these things. If you think it's an area that you are affected, you can just keep learning, keep seeking out for more clarification. And let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with asking. I always say that there's nothing wrong with asking. You might look like a fool right now because you're asking about even some things that, someone might look at what you're asking and they're like, so this is something that is kawaida. Everything is not kawaida. So just keep asking, keep seeking for clarification, and you never know. You might just save yourself some big trouble. You might skip some phases that people have experienced in their life. Because I always say, there's always that quote that wise people learn from other people's experiences. Don't wait for you to get heartbroken, for you to go through sexual sin, for you now to know what it is, that you want to experience it, for you to know what it is. Learn from other people. And on the part of failure, I don't, is it failure? What was the first question? The one on suffering. Yes, the one on suffering. I didn't say anything about it, but one thing for sure that I know is everything always turns out to be okay at the end of it. Trust on the promises that God has given us, because in his word, he says, my promises are yea and amen. And there's no word that God gives us that goes back without accomplishing what it was meant to accomplish. So just trust in God. I know it is very difficult when you're in that position of suffering, you don't see anything positive about the suffering. But at the end of it all, trust you me, I am a testimony. Things always work out. And you'll end up to that place you've always wanted to be there. And you look back and think, kumbe whatever I was suffering, God was preparing me for all this. And like for me, everything I've gone through in my life, every single thing, it has led me to where I am today. All those experiences, the bad experiences, the good experiences, I look back, because I'll give you an example. When I finished high school, I was one of the top performing students in State House Girls, and I really wanted to do law. But when our letters to join campus came, I was called to do journalism and mass communication. It was a very difficult time in my life, and I was torn. I didn't know what to do. I even tried doing inter-university transfers. I did everything that I could do to change to go and study law. And trust me, it didn't work out. Nothing worked out. Everything didn't work out. So I ended up taking communication. And even in the journey, along the way, I think I got used to it and I got to love the course. And I am where I am today because I studied journalism and mass communication. Maybe if I had studied law, I don't know where I would be today. I honestly don't know how my life would have turned out. And I thank God, because even in failure, sometimes I fail myself. I'm not perfect. I've failed so many times, but God still picks you up. He says that you might fail seven times, but at the end of it, what determines the outcome is, will you rise again from that fail? Will you stand up again, or will you just sit down and say, Aki, God, me, I failed you? Because one thing I've realized with us Christians most of the time, I think we have so much expectation of ourselves, of what we are supposed to be, that in the end, if something just small pushes you out of the way, if I just make like a small mistake, I will just wallow in pity. I will sit there and think, oh my God, Akisasani, I have sinned. God will never forgive me from this. I cannot come out of this. And what happens? You end up sinking deeper and deeper in sin. You end up going to those bottom places you've never wanted to go, because we are afraid that maybe if I tell mom, Aki, I sinned, she will judge me, or people will start looking at me in another perspective. We strive so much for perfection that we forget we are human beings. We are bound to fail. We are bound to all these other things. We are not insulated from failure. We are not insulated from suffering. There's nowhere in the Bible that God has promised us that we will not suffer. We will suffer, but what matters is, what do I take out of the suffering? How do I go through that period? How do I weather the storm? And the moment you learn to go through these things in life, I believe life just becomes easy. You learn to forgive yourself. You learn to love other people. You learn to share compassion, even with people who have failed, even with other girls out here, when maybe they have gone astray kidogo. You learn to have so much compassion in you that you can hold all these people together. And in the end, we all grow together. Yes, I believe that is what I have taken home today.
Wow. Thank you. Right. So I think our meeting will end here, but on your talk about the topics for next week, would it be better to put them on the chat? So we pick from there, the WhatsApp chat? But that is if at all we are meeting next week. What do we think we should meet next week, or we'll decide from the chat? I don't know.
I don't know what people think, but I was suggesting that we should have I think we should discuss this with everyone else in the group, so that we can always have quite a number of us attending, because I believe what we are talking about here is important, and we don't want other people being left behind. So maybe we can have a schedule. Maybe we say in every 1 week we will always be having a meeting on this specific day, so that in the course of the week we can all prepare. We can always be ready to, maybe if it's Thursday, for example, even as I'm working or as I'm going on with my life during the week, at least I know on Thursday we have a meeting with the daughters, and we will be discussing ABCD. It will even be easier for us to prepare and for us to come prepared, so that we don't have this impromptu meeting that we just give people one day's notice. People have so many things they're doing right now. So I think we will discuss in the group so that we can come up with a date or a day that we say this one is fine.
With that, then I think we'll stop there for today, and one person can pray for us, say the closing prayer. Volunteer. Shama preached the other time. Elsie, pray for us.